Welcome to Channel 5. Controlling your emotions doesn't mean ignoring them. It means you recognize them and act on them when you deem it appropriate, not randomly and uncontrollably. Here are 7 tips on how to gain control of your emotions. Tip 1. Know your emotions. There are a million different ways you can feel, but scientists have classified human emotions into a few basics that everyone can recognize: joy, acceptance, fear, surprise, sadness, disgust, anger, and anticipation. Jealousy, for example, is a manifestation of fear. Fear that you're not as good as someone else. Fear of being abandoned because you're not perfect or the best. Tip 2. Recognize that emotions don't just appear mysteriously out of nowhere. Many times we're at the mercy of our emotions on a subconscious level. By recognizing your emotions on a conscious level, you're better able to control them. It's also good to recognize an emotion from the moment it materializes, as opposed to letting it build up and intensify. The last thing you want to do is ignore or repress your feelings, because you probably know that when you do that, they tend to get worse and erupt later. Ask yourself throughout the day, how am I feeling right now? If you can, keep a journal. Tip 3. Notice what was going through your mind when the emotion appeared. Stop and analyze what you were thinking about until you find what thought was causing the emotion. Tip 4. Write down the evidence which supports the thought that produced the emotion or was against that thought. Tip 5. Ask yourself, what is another way to look at the situation that is more rational and more balanced than the way I was looking at it before? Take the new evidence into account. You may conclude that you're relieved of the emotion that was troubling you. Tip 6. Consider your options. Now that you know what emotion you're dealing with, think of at least 2 different ways you can respond. Your emotions control you when you assume there's only one way to react, but you always have a choice. For example, if someone insults you and you experience anger, your immediate response might be to insult them back. But no matter what the emotion is, there are always at least 2 alternatives, and you can probably think of more. First, don't react, do nothing, and second, do the opposite of what you would normally do. And tip 7, make a choice. When deciding what to do, it's important to make sure it's a conscious choice, not a reaction to another competing emotion. For example, if someone insults you and you do nothing, is it your decision, or is it a response to your fear of confrontation? Here are 2 good reasons to act upon. A. Principles. Who do you want to be? What are your moral principles? What do you want the outcome of this situation to be? Ultimately, which is the decision you'd be most proud of? This is where any guidance comes into play. And B. Logic. Which course of action is the most likely to result in the outcome you desire? For example, if you're being confronted with a confrontation and you want to take the pacifist route, you can walk away, but there's a good chance the person will be insulted if you turn your back. Maybe then it's better to apologize and keep them talking until they calm down. And those are 7 tips on how to gain control of your emotions. I hope these helped. Subscribe, like, comment, and thank you for watching.